Let's have a look at a worded problem using linear equations. Now I have a question here. John gets paid $10 a day at the store. He gets an additional $5 for every pair of shoes he sells. If John sells 8 pairs of shoes, how much will John make that day? Now, it's asked us to do a few things here. Draw a table, draw a line, write an equation, and it's also asked us how much he'll make after selling 8 pairs of shoes. Now, I've started to draw some things up here. So first of all, let's draw the table. Now, using our question here, remember we're looking for something that's like y equals mx plus c, where m is our slope or a gradient, and c is our starting point. So we draw up our table here. Now I've got two axes, S and P. Remember we've been using X and Y, but S is representing the number of shoes that John has sold. P is representing his pay for the day. So when John has sold no pairs of shoes, it says here that he gets paid $10 a day. So even when he sold no pairs of shoes, he's still going to have $10. And for every pair of shoes John sells, he gets an additional $5. So we're starting at $10 here. When he's sold one pair of shoes, he's going to get 15. 2 pairs, add another 5, and that's 20. And you'll see that the pattern increases like so. Every additional pair of shoes that John sells, he gets $5 more. So here we filled out our table because we're starting at no shoes. He starts with $10 a day. 1 pair of shoes, he gets another 5. 2 pairs, well he sold 2 pairs, so it's 2 lots of 10 plus the additional 10, and it's 20. And we go up here. So we can see it's increasing by 5 each time he sells a pair of shoes. So we've drawn a table. Now we need to draw the line using these points on the table. So I've set up a little graph here. So I've got pay on our y-axis and the number of shoes sold on our x-axis. So we can see at 0. So starting here at 0, well, John's already on $10. At 1 pair of shoes, he's on 15. 2, he's on 20, and so on. So even when selling no shoes for the day, he already gets paid $10. So let's draw our line here. Alright, now that's done. We need to write an equation for this. So let's use our line to help us out here. We're going to label this line here. So in our form is y equals mx plus c. Well, we know that c is going to be our y-intercept, and we can see that it's going through our y-intercept at $10 here. So we know that's going to be plus 10. Now, we need to multiply our x by something in order to get the rest of our equation. We can see that going from left to right, the value is increasing. So we know it's going to be a positive number. So let's have a look here using our rise over run. So when I go across 1 pair of shoes here, I increase by $5. So that's going to look as our rise. Here's our run. So here it's going to look like 5 over 1, or just 5. So I'm going to put a 5 there, and we have just written an equation to represent what John makes in a day based on how many shoes he sells. So our equation ends up being y equals 5x plus 10. 10 being c, or the y-intercept, or his daily pay, and then 5x being the amount he gets paid for every pair of shoes he sells, and x here represents how many pairs of shoes he sells. To use this equation, we could find out how much he would make, which is why I'll rewrite this in the form that we've set it up here. So his pay for the day is going to equal 5 times the number of shoes he sells plus 10. So let's find out if he sold, let's say 12 pairs of shoes. We can say 5 times 12 plus 10 will equal John's pay. So we know that 5 times 12 is going to be 60. Plus 10. So his pay is going to be $70 for that day. And that is how this all relates. And if we were to continue this line up here, follow this line all the way along, and we look at 12, and we kept going up, we would see that John would make $70 here.